Alright, here we go. In the bottom right side, we have a Dragon Phoenix Gamerman here for the Terran race. It is Cure. And in the top left side, somebody fighting for the Kai Z Gamers. He's red, he's a Zerg, and he is Solar. Alright, with that out of the way, we can start talking about what's going on here in the middle. You have to wonder, there's a lot of matches coming up, important matches in the GSL again. How much are they going to be showing here? Actually, you know what, I should have the GSL brackets as well. GSL brackets. I hope this is just going to give me the correct one immediately the moment I click on it. Let's see. It doesn't. Alright, well. Somebody could look into that. Which groups are Solar and Cure in? Like, I believe Cure is in with Zerg as well. I don't know if it's either Rogue or Dark. I don't know. You guys can win a bit of money if you want to try the treasure box feature. That's right. That's right. If you just spam "I'm here for the good games," then it should get you introduced. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, the GSL matches, right? Gotta stick to my script here a little bit. It's important because if you do have a big TVZ match coming up, you don't want to show too much. So just going for like a 2 racks build here. So I have Ragnarok's name tag. Oh my god, I do. It's not Ragnarok, guys. It's Cure. There we go. It's a brilliant start so far to today's session. Wonderful stuff. Alright, circling's coming around on the bottom side. And, well, I mean, the first bunker is up, protecting the second bunker. There's a spine crawler as well. But will that second bunker be completed? That's the question. And it's looking like it will. I mean, the Queen is going to go down. The Zerglings are going to go down. More Zerglings coming in, but that bunker is done now. The spine crawler is in the ground, though. Kills off the SCV first and foremost. That will not allow any further repairs to happen on that bunker. But the bunker, a lot of firepower coming from that bad boy. 6 Marines with it. He's going to be able to take out the spine crawler here, and Solar now in a ton of trouble. Making 10 Zerglings at a time. Trying to get everything in control again. Trying to figure out a way to wrestle this situation back into a favorable one, but with just pure Zerglings, it is just so disgustingly inefficient. The Marines got way too much time to just keep shooting as you're trying to break down that bunker. And you lose a lot of stuff. Now behind this, I mean, Cure not really letting the grass grow over the situation. He's making another command center. He's got a factory ready now as well. He's looking good. He's looking good. He's still making Marines though, which... You know what, I mean, as long as it's working, as long as he's gaining valuable trades with this, I mean, absolutely fine. Look at the amount of Zerglings we've had to be made here by Solar. Already 34, including that spine crawler, losing a queen. Those other 2 queens in the red, if they both get shot down, that is another 300 mineral stats just down the drain right now. And, yeah, this is rather gruesome here for Solar. Not gonna lie. Incredibly delayed third base. Barely, nowhere near the amount of drones where he wants to be. So even if he does decide to go for an all-in from this point onwards, it's going to be a rough one because, well, really doesn't have that much to be throwing at Cure either. And again, if the Zerglings do manage to get a good surround on the Hellions and the Marines also, maybe they will be able to get something done. So far, those Hellions, pretty reasonable micro here. To be a little bit careful, but that looks like good trading, and the medevac comes in as well, saves the day, gets both of the Hellions out of there. And that's just more minerals down the gutter here now. Solar, he is got to be feeling a little bit tense. Has decided to fully invest into mineral mining there for a while. Up until now, he's got 2 more drones on the way. There we go. Was oversaturated, so may as well get that going. But yeah, quite heavy orientation towards the minerals. Makes me think that he just wants to try and drone up again. It's on 39 versus 30. It's not that far apart. Maybe that third base delay in a way he could try to make out into his favor by getting some extra gas earlier on, right? Get some sort of tackle for the 2 base rather than going for the minerals, trying to get a third and then having those bunkers be there in your face. I don't know. Anyway, Zerglings attempting to shut down the Hylian aggression right now. Enough queens to really force that medevac to reconsider the trajectory that it's taking right now. Viking coming in as well. We'll be able to shut down some Overlord scouting. Gonna make it more difficult for the Queens and Zerglings to be at the right place at the right time. Depending on where that medevac rise to go. To rise? It's a weird way of saying tries. To rise. Alright, enough fun. Diddy-daddling. There's a third command center for Kure that was constructed quite a while ago. He is really quite adamant about his own economy game here as well. Managed to get 6 more drones killed off with those Hellions also. That trade window definitely showing that Kure should be in a pretty good spot right now. Nothing too crazy happening though anymore with like the bases, I guess. The 4th base of Solar could have been a little bit earlier. But taking into consideration how late this 3rd was, it makes sense that the 4th also going to be delayed. Can't just kind of hamstring yourself on less minerals and just still do exactly the same as you normally do, right? There's some corners you gotta cut, some things that gotta be delayed, and 4th base a good choice. Right. Still committing to the Marine Hellion aggression here, and we'll be able to pick off 2 queens at least. There goes a 3rd, a 4th quick to follow, and now the drones are under attack. Zerglings do finally manage to put a stop to that, but still, that was some pretty reasonable trading once again there, coming out of Kure. It's not even that much aggression, right? It's not like he's attacking on 2 or 3 flanks at the same time. It's just the same angle as well, and I don't know. Solar perhaps maybe anticipating a little bit more than was thrown at him. Spreading out those Zerglings everywhere, and then, you know, one big push of Marines and Hellions are going to be able to pick off 3-4 queens. Alright, continuing onwards with the aggression this time around. A push straight through the middle. Those Marines not being picked up so far. You're thinking that he can win this fight, and look at that, he has it entirely correctly. I would have put those Marines in the medevacs ages ago, but not Kure. Kure, cooled with his nerves, will be able to stay cool under pressure and just realize, you know what, this is not that many banelings, so I might be able to just micro my way backwards, and as long as I keep that DPS of the Marines involved, I'm going to be able to shut down the Zerglings from killing the siege tank, and then he is going to be in real trouble, and that is exactly what happened right there. Bottom right side, Dragon Phoenix Gamer Extraordinaire. It's the Blue Terran. Give it up for Kure. His opponent, representing the Red Zergs. This time around, he does change his color now and again, but this time around, it will be that red. The color of blood. He is Kaisi Gamers Solar. And blue, The color of violets. That took me a while. I had to go over... I actually had to go over that little rhyme, like, roses are red, violets are blue. I was like, what is blue? And then I thought, well, there's that poem, right? And then I'd be, what was it again? Violets. Violets, right, violets. And then it all came together. There we go. The color of violets versus the color of roses. It's a tale old as time. It's about love. It's about tragedy. It's about not really sure what to say in a certain situation. And just putting something to words because you think it might be better than just sitting there awkwardly silent. So you start talking about colors and, you know, flowers, I suppose. That is what you do. That's what I do in those situations. And this flower is this color. It's a date with Kozan. There you go. Everyone has had the experience now. Alright. Pretty regular stuff so far, guys. Reaper fast expand. The spawning pool coming in the behind the hatchery. It's gonna get scouted by the SCV. It's gonna be a happy little SCV boy being like, alright, yeah, this is normal. This is perfectly a-okay. Thank you, Bitterwood, for the dancing chicken. Very much appreciated. I will keep this dancing chicken in my memories for all time. I appreciate it, Bitterwoods. You're my favorite viewer of all time. That is alright. Some caster viewer romance going on here. Little Reaper man looking around, trying to find some damage, but can't quite find it so far. A reasonably quick third CC. Now we're gonna get to see Solar play a little bit more of the game that he wanted to play probably in the first game as well. As he is not getting bunker rushed and such, right? It never happened in this scenario, so we see this, the third base being a lot quicker, right? The third base in the previous map, I believe, was at like 4 minutes 30 seconds, around that ballpark. Maybe even later. And this one, yeah, around 3 minutes, being established, getting control of the map this way, getting more creep spread out there as well. And just getting more on time, getting at fourth base quicker, right? It's all a lot of dominoes being tipped over in StarCraft. And if there's one domino not falling correctly, right, you're gonna have to walk over all the way and try to manually tip that domino again. And then it's gonna continue down the chain, but every time one of those dominoes malfunctions, it's a big hiccup. It costs you a lot of time. And all the other dominoes will be delayed because of it. That's a really good analogy. That's maybe the best analogy I've ever done. And I'm sure other people probably already did it at some point in time, but that's fine. I probably heard it from them as well, now that I think about it. Alright, anyway. It's fun stuff. We're having a lot of fun. That's the important bit. More Hellions coming out. It's going up to a pretty large amount. No armory just yet. Is he still gonna get it? We don't know. The Hellbat pushes have been quite a mysterious event recently. They have been coming in and out of the meta and appearing in all shapes and sizes nowadays. Really, a lot of experimentation going on with that type of play. Just fun to see, you know, a game that is quite a couple of years old still. People trying stuff out, innovating. Innovation is going to stay there forever because, I mean, whenever a game gets stale, the innovation is inevitably going to show up. At least as long as people still want to win, right? They're going to try to innovate against whatever is available at that point in time. Might seem weird, but yeah, I am of that opinion. Oh dear, that is The auto turret cleaning up the first queen. The Hellions now getting rather close to those drones, but only 2 of them so far have gone down. That is still a big clump of drones, though. Careful stuff. A couple worker bees are running into the danger territory here, but the queens slowly but surely are whittling down these numbers. 2 more Hellions remain. Are they gonna be the Fist of Fury? No, 7 drones. A whole lot of mining time lost as well, though. Let's take a look. Yeah, he was really up, going to the top with that graph right there. Now, certainly not so much anymore, are we? Upgrades looking fairly similar as well. Let's look at the units lost tab. Yeah, slight favoritism towards Cure here, once again, I would say. But Solar is a player that can hit his stride later down the road as well in this matchup, I would say. A guy you don't want to mess with too. Or you don't want to count out of a match too quickly, really. He's got a good defensive setup here against any type of marine aggression on the ground. The Medifex are going to make this very difficult, of course, though, but there should be enough Zerglings and Banelings here to kind of keep this pressure under control. I mean, he has more than enough to be on both sides of the area here, right? And then just stop them from dropping down. He's a little bit slow with the rotation, though, and he's still sending all his Zerglings and Banelings in one big group to either side instead of splitting them up, which is a little bit unfortunate. Maybe he thought the Queens were moving back towards that gold base or something like that. And they will be able to keep those Medifex away from that area, of course, but... Alright. Moving on forwards. It's only a 4 worker difference right here, which has me a little bit worried for Solar, but he does have that gold base now. Which might make up for that a little bit. Oh, nice dodges on those Widow Mines. Very good stuff. Now we have the drop on the top side as well. Being able to clean up the 5th base before it even starts to be a 5th base. Still no Spire coming up. We are gonna go straight into the Hydralisk and Infestation Pit instead. Probably want to see this as well. Marines are getting out of there. So yeah, just straight up into the Lurker play here. Most likely coming out of Solar. Is starting to spread out those Zerglings a little bit more efficiently right now. And that is allowing him to gain more control of this map. Using a lot of creep on the bottom floor. Has to be careful of the Widow Mines as well, of course. Careful. That could be bad. What? How did none of the Widow Mines hit anything there? Very clean control there from Solar, I would say. I guess he really target fired down those Widow Mines. Had some Banelings run into them. Well done, well done. Two Medifex once again going for a stroll. Might find themselves in 3rd base. That is slightly exposed here. Only a singular queen ready and waiting the arrival of the Marines. Not anticipating this many guests in a courtyard of minerals. As the Zerglings, I mean, they do get there in time. It's always a cost inefficient trade, though. You have to remember this for the Zerg. Sure, he didn't get any whatchamacallit, drones killed, but the Zerglings are still valuable as well, and if you just keep trading the entire game Zerglings against Marines that are, like, you know, in between the mineral patches in such a position, you're not winning that game. Unless if you just have, like, multiple more bases than your opponents. A lot of other stuff can happen, of course. You could have Banelings mixed in as well, and suddenly a good connection could turn that trade value upside down. But yeah, a good Terran will always pick up before those Banelings manage to connect onto those Marines, of course. Maybe I shoot the best Terrans. The best Terrans... usually don't let that occur too much. getting into the woods right now with these two players. I mean, I wonder if it's going to be up to Cure to try and break Solar here before those Lurkers are out, or if he's going to try to make some sort of a setup switch happen here. He has put up 2 extra factories with Tech Labs, so he is producing those siege tanks now in order to try and get ready for a Lurker switch. I would love to see some air units as well being mixed into this for Cure, whether that be the, well, Liberators or maybe a couple of Vikings. Right, just in order to shoot down the Vipers. They are going to be very crucial to shoot down. The Ghost, very good choice as well. And then Liberators just to be able to siege up onto those Lurkers, of course. Force them backwards. The most cost-efficient way to try and deal with them. Liberator siege tank. Siege tanks to blast away at the Hydralisk, and then the Liberator to shoot away at the Lurkers, all from a distance. Gotta try to keep your hands clean as a human, of course. Couple of Widow Mines here and there, still managing to get some connections. Overall, in these 12 minutes, we did have 58 workers go down in total. That's very impressive here for Cure. I was not anticipating it to be getting it to that amount of quantities. Widow Mine. Okay. The Banelings right there did just kind of go for it, right? It's like, well, you know what? There's a lot of Marauders here, so it's not most efficient, but at least we're going to avoid that Widow Mine from going off. Going for the detonation. The Lurkers here, not going to be in time to safeguard the drones, so this attack right here managed to get another 19 little worker bees down. And the worst part for Solar is that these 3 medevacs are just going to be sitting here pretty free for the moment. Do we have Vipers already? We do have 2 Vipers. They are going to have to put a stop to these medevacs, and they are the one unit that really can at this moment in time. Need to yoink them above those Hydralisks, of course. And down goes one. The other one. Just having a little extended stay there for a moment. Shouldn't be able to do much more. Oh, this is exciting. What do we have over here? 2 Nidus Worms. Straight up into the main base. And then there's only 4 Marines. Are the 4 Marines enough to kill 2 Nidus Worms? Yes, alright. The more you know. You need 3 Nidus Worms when there's 4 Marines. Okay. Right, I'm gonna make another attempt here. Oh, the natural base also looking quite juicy targets. Planetary Fortress along the northern edge has been taken care of right now. Quite an investment of Banelings there, of course, coming through, and 40 Banelings immediately back on the production queue. The 2 Nidus Worms in the natural base looks like they are going to get completed. What do we have in here? Yes, they are Lurkers, the most frustrating unit to suddenly have in your base of all time. Very, very difficult to deal with right here, but the Siege Tanks and the Ghost, you know what? That is a wonderful response there by Cure. Sure, he does lose 20 workers in combination with this and the Planetary Fortress on the top side. But I'm very impressed with how well he killed all those Lurkers. Now over here, again, 2 Nidus Worms. Again, it seems like Cure is just not losing army units really at all against these big flocks of Lurkers that are suddenly appearing. Very well done, very well done. Let's see how many drones in total. 77 versus 22 right now. Nice couple of Widow Mines there, managing to stop this from ever being a threat. Well done. Look at harassment on the golden mineral fields. That gold base is very important still. Sure, Cure is trading more efficiently, but it is pretty clear that Solar still has map control. The majority of map control. Maybe Cure's going to be able to start pushing along the top or the bottom here somewhere at some point in time, but it's going to be difficult for him to control that area while also maintaining the flow on the other's angle, really. Whether that be at the bottom or the top. Yeah, Kurt's gonna have to make his move on one of those bases at least in order to have things remain equal in the amount of minerals and resources available for both these players in this entire game. There's another couple of Nidus worms. So like that, he's just spreading them out in front of the creep area right now. It's going to be a lot easier for him to rotate from place to place. Might even be an idea to get a couple of those... where are they? I don't know where. Oh, that's the... He's got a lot of Ghost Academies. My dear lord, this is getting exciting. Okay, that's the first one. Where's the other one? Oh, this one's going to hit. Skersplooch! That's a lot of blood. We have more. Oh, more units right here. It's only 3 Marines, but they are a bother to deal with. I think the entire army sent over, that is a clear sign of just utter frustration, I would say. Let's wait for another couple of nukes right here before we continue along. The Nidus worms from Solar not having as much success. Trying to find these ghosts, but these goats, they are quite extraordinary. There we go, there's the nuke. Where's the other one? Oh, there it is. Oh, 2 nukes at a time. Now, let's see. This one should land first. It's not much here, but should be able to land. This one here, it's going to hit a Spore Crawler. Alright, well, that was quite something. Of course, you know what? One of the main things you have to take into consideration is that these nukes, they are pressuring Solar's multitasking quite a bit. It's not just that he has to, you know, make sure that his army doesn't die. He has to make sure he has to go past all these drone lines, right? Okay, which ones are in trouble? He can't afford to just keep losing drones over and over. He needs to find these nukes. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, and then when he finally finds it, there's 2 more going off somewhere else, right? And then every time that nuke goes off, he kind of has to recheck the areas he's already checked, and if you do this correctly, it can be quite a frustrating thing for the Zerg to deal with. Those Zerglings right there are going to arrive in time. Well, no, never mind. The nuke still lands, but at least the Zerglings didn't die. More Marines at the top side. Again, a singular Marine medevac drop. It's doing a enormous amount of work for Cure here. A amount of work that he really should not be able to get away with, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just happening over and over again. Let's take another look at the resources lost tab. That is a ludicrous difference right now. 10k difference in minerals, pretty much. That is very impressive. You know what? Cure might be able to get away with having a 2 base disadvantage if he keeps trading like that. That is absolutely ridiculous. Really ridiculous. Solar's bank is quite magnificent as well, but yeah, I guess Cure is not really managing to get a big bank going, but he's building a lot of infrastructure instead. Just keeps getting more nukes. How many nukes are we on one right now? 2 more coming in. I don't know, guys. I like to believe that the nuking is going to be enough here, but where are they? Where are they? I don't know. Is there another Ghost Academy somewhere? Apparently there is. I don't think there is, but there might be. Actually, there should be. Just not sure anymore. Right. If Solar can't engage into Cure's base, he will be in trouble. Yes, I think he will be. And especially with this one here in the bottom as well. If Cure manages to grab that, I think that's going to be GG, right? I think that should be the end of it. Or if Solar loses this base, that could be the end of it as well. Alright, inching closer with those nukes. Having a couple of siege tanks near here now as well. Very big, concrete line of defense now set up for Cure along the entire front line. And he is gonna keep using nukes to keep Solar at bay. Solar not falling for it this time around. Will just charge forwards with his Zergling numbers. Will not charge down the Menagio line of Cure though. Look at this siege tank setup. You are gonna be busy for ages trying to clean that up. Every time you gain some ground, there's more siege tanks shooting at you. Maybe just kind of trying to break one angle of attack and then moving things along that side might be a good way to get that ball rolling, but right, maybe try to get rid of a base up here and have something happen there, but I don't know. To me, it almost seems like, right, because hear me out, fellas, hear me out. Very often with the Zerg, you'll see them going for these big attacks with banelings, massive floods into planetary fortresses, trying to shut down the overall money available for the Terrans at such a quicker pace, in order to try and get that game going into their favor a lot quicker, right? And it almost seems like Solar a little bit happy to just, you know, maybe do that once, maybe do that twice, a couple of times, not as many times, but no, he still does it here and there, and then he just kind of has his multiple bases, has a good amount of bases, starts setting up defensively, and he's just like, alright, now try to deal with me, come at me, try to break me, try to shut me down somehow, man, and it's a very difficult thing to do here, apparently. Still, looking at the banks right now, Cure's bank is starting to grow quite rapidly. Has gained control of the 12 o'clock. Solar still in control of the 6 o'clock for a couple of seconds as I was starting that sentence. But now there's siege tanks here, and those siege tanks are not going to make anything easy anymore. What? He was nuking himself. That must have been a misclick right there. Just cancel it out very quickly as well. See if this nuke... Yeah, only a couple of overlords. No army dying to it. That's something very terrifying now, of course. Just having all the brute lords go down due to one ginormous nuke. He's sniping the banelings. Okay. That's cool to see. 7 for 7 Ghost, 4 Vikings. That's the army available in order to deal with... How many brute lords is this now? It's going to be 18 brute lords. 18 brute lords, well, a fair amount of infestors there as well. 9 of them available. Just gotta be careful of the EMPs. A lot of ghosts already targeted down. Only 1 remains, actually. That could be a problem here. The Thors on their own, they do very well against those brute lords, but you do need to have a bit more of them when the brute lord number is up to this enormous, ridiculous number. Alright, brute lords just jamming their way through. That 12 o'clock base no longer going to be available right now. The 6 o'clock's looking like that is going to be Cure's next place for contention. Nuke doesn't quite manage to connect onto anything. How are we looking on these other bases right now? This army is doing alright. The banks, they're still there. Both players still on 200. But the bank for Solar does seem to be dissipating a little bit quicker right now. That being said, 22 workers being destroyed for Cure. How many orbitals does he have? What is his number? He has 8 orbitals. That's a fair amount. Okay, you can get away with losing a whole lot more SCVs that way. Of course. Siege tanks, maybe not the first thing you want to lose here, but I guess you're not facing the lurkers anymore. Do we still have any lurkers? No, we do not. Okay, so that's a fair trade-off there for Cure, realizing that he does no longer need those siege tanks. Kind of getting away from that area. Oof. Oof. There's just so many broodlings spawning in one go. That is ridiculous. More nukes. Let's see if we can catch another one. Let's just do it. Why not? So, how many... Is there a button to see how many nukes we've had so far? I would love, like, some sort of a button to see how much money we've had invested into nukes so far. Because it does seem to be quite a ludicrous amount right now. The Thors are struggling here with the Blinding Cloud. The Brute Lords are stampeding forwards. As the Brutelings are doing quite a number on this Ghost Thor army. It does seem like the kind of the final army composition here of Solar just a little bit better and more proficient at doing its job than that of Cure. Cure is still maintaining quite a couple of siege tanks here. And not fully committing onto just the straight up battle, trying to break down the Brute Lords. Because that is just the army of Solar right now. It's just straight up pure Brute Lords, 6 Infestors there. And then the tiniest amount of Zerglings together with it. Okay, nothing happened there. So many Brute Lords. Yeah, I thought honestly, like, whenever I try to do Brute Lords against Thors, it just doesn't quite work. But we have 23 Brute Lords right here versus 10 Thors. And we have the 2 Blinding Clouds throwing Vipers there, right? That's one of the best ways to still beat Thors with Brute Lords. It is that Blinding Cloud. And then we have 8 Infestors here also, all with high energy. So it comes down to the micro in a way of those ghosts. Are they going to be able to hit the EMPs that they need to? Are those spells still going to be cast to try and counteract the Thors? Let's see how it goes. The Thors need to target down the Brute Lords. Are not allowed to shoot at the Brutelings. If you do that, it's already GG. That is just, oh man, that is such a gruesome amount of red right now, just spilling over all the Blues Terran units. They are somewhat holding on, but it's not going to be for very long. 13 Brute Lords still remain, and 3 more on the way. Cure now having to vacate his 2 most important mining bases, I would say. Maybe there's one in the top right side. There's similar importance, but this one at the 6 o'clock, that is just so much money still left here. Definitely one of the most important contention places of contestation. There we go. We'll just make up a word. Another nuke. Can't believe he still has the money for those. Still throwing him about. He knows this is a base he needs to keep mining away from. Just nuking it once in a while. It's a valid way to keep the mining from happening here. Zerglings trying to find the ghost. We'll be able to find it. The nuke is gonna not land. That is unfortunate. Now more nukes. A little bit of an act of desperation. But, I mean, if they land on the army, that is gonna be it. That is gonna be a GG right then and there. No way Solar is ever gonna be able to replenish this entirety of an army. It's just not gonna happen. If I was Cure, I would just try to stick to, well, I don't know, the Thors. Here's the problem with the Thors. They got knurled, right? So you need to have Ghosts. Ghosts are the must-have unit. You need Ghosts. Without Ghosts, you don't win. Then you need a unit to be able to take out the Brute Lords. And that could be Vikings. It could be. But then you have the, like, 12 Corruptors there already as well. It's a tricky thing, right? I would say. To try and have enough Vikings there to take on the Corruptors that will just fly on top of you and the Brute Lords. Then you have the option of the Marine. The Marine just gets fungled, right? That's horrible. So the Thor, I think the Thor is still your best bet here in order to have that incredible long range, shoot down the Brute Lords without having to worry about those Corruptors hammering down your forces at the same time. Alright. In a little corner here. This could be dangerous. He's really up against the ropes right now. Cure nowhere to retreat to with this army. He's going to give it his best go. Great EMPs will be able to keep those infestors from neuraling the Thors. So they are still alive. One nuke buys a little bit of time. Another Thor comes out. I think we may be coming into the conclusion here. Very good effort by both these players. But, what do we have on the top? Okay, there's still a lot of Marines. Maybe those Marines, with all the EMPs that did occur on the Infestors, maybe they'll be able to stim underneath the Brute Lords. Oh, but that's a big if, though. The Brute Lords in a very good position here, right on top of this little high ground edge. Very difficult for the Marines to get underneath that. Incredibly difficult. He's trying to keep this planetary fortress alive. I'm not even sure if it's worth it at this point in time. Maybe just letting those Brute Lords move along a little bit quicker to avoid those Infestors from regaining energy might be the way to go. Alright, now this is the moment. He's got a bit of a trajectory trying to move himself upwards here. The Thors and the Ghost need to target down the Brute Lords. The Marines, looks like he's just using those to keep away the Broodlings and kind of carve his way a path through here so that those Thors and Ghosts will be able to try and do their job. Great Blinding Cloud shutting down 2 Thors right there. And this is still a large quantity of Brute Lords, isn't it? They're going down slowly, but a little bit too slow. I think we are almost at an end here, guys. Of a game that is just... it's just been so incredibly close for such a long period of time. Look at that. He's trying to come in from behind with the orbital command and try and make something happen there. Just, it's not working out. It's not working out. He's coming to the 12 o'clock. That is no longer a Zerg base. This is 6 o'clock, really the point where there is still minerals available. Top right side, pretty much mined out now as well. I mean, you might as well try to just gobble all this up, right? If you have the chance, if Solar will let you, which I think he might, because his army, come to think about it, it is just Brute Lords Infestors, right? They need to stick together to make this work. And moving in between the 6 and the 12 o'clock here, that's a difficult task. And if he goes towards the 12 o'clock in order to shut down this mining, well, I mean, he's just getting giving Cure an opportunity to strike the more important base at the 6 o'clock. Alright, there we go. Still making ghosts. We have one available. He's landing great EMPs. He just... I mean, if he wants to have his shots here, that is the stuff we need to keep seeing happening here. Oh, Fungals managing to land on some of the units here. Every unit matters the most when it's down the wire, right, like it is right now. Some long distance mining being interrupted right there. A single Zergling not going to be able to stand up against the mighty power drill. Yeah, Cure just kind of shutting down these hatcheries. These hatcheries important to take out, right, because they're not just empty vessels of, you know, places where you used to be able to get money. They're also the production from the Zerg, right? So even if you do get one base going, you're not going to be able to replenish your Zergling numbers as quickly anymore because you only have one hatchery. You're going to be able to make 6 Zerglings at a time rather than, what is it, you know, 6 times 3, which would be 255 Zerglings at a time. If my math is correct. People tell me not to do math on streams, so you know what, I do it anyway. Alright. I mean, again, Solar a little bit taking the posture of like, you know, alright, I've done damage. I'm setting up a good army. Now I'm just going to sit back and try to make you deal with me. I'm going to stop trying to be aggressive here. Slow things down and try to find the best way to just kind of win on the efficiency here. I have more money. And that's going to bring me the game. You're going to have to push into me because I have more money. And I'm still mining here. So as long as that is going on, it might be okay. But the scary part for Solar perhaps is that Kyo's not doing any of that. He's just going around taking out everything else on the map. He's taking out all the hatcheries right now. He's going to be able to take out the hive and all this tech structure here as well. Pretty soon. I'm not sure if Solar's gonna try to commit a defense onto that area. It would be quite a audacious one. These infestors will have to walk along this valley, and there's a couple of ghosts wisely set up in order to try and snipe those infestors if they do try to move along and intercept this force here. Doing a couple of scans now and again to try and make sure if there's no Zerg army coming in. The Zerg army, in fact, actually not that busy with trying to keep its own main base alive. We'll just start moving out and try to intercept reinforcements coming out of the main base. We have 84 army supply for Cure right now and 102 army supply for Solar. So Solar's definitely still with a much stronger army here, especially considering his army is consistent of tier 3. And Cure's army is still kind of consisting out of tier 1. Then again, those are the best tier 1 units in the game. Mostly Marines. This is quite a crazy scenario here. Now, drones, I'm not sure where they're going. Guess they know there's not much else money to be mined around here anymore. Imagine if a nuke just lands now. This single nuke. Oh, he's trying to do the snipes, but oh, he's losing 2 ghosts. Oh, that is rough. Is he trying to snipe the overseers? Is that what he's trying to do? If he gets the overseers, he might be able to, like, force out a draw in worst case scenario. Right? This is crazy. This is an absolutely silly game. We're 39 minutes in. We got 1 base left that's mining. And it's trying to reproduce all the Zerg technology that is available. Alright, and here we go. Here's the final assault. SCVs, Marines, Marauders, Ghosts, Medevacs, everything that is still remaining for the Terran army is coming out to play right now. A nice fungal catching 2 Medevacs right there. Catching them again. The Corruptor's not really intrigued enough to try and pick them off though. Here we go. Solar moving back to his own base. He knows if he uses the terrain in his advantage, this is going to be an extremely difficult fight for Cure to win. And honestly, as long as Solar is in a place where those Broodlords can't get enveloped and surrounded in a good way, I don't think that Cure's ever going to be able to get a victory here. So Solar just very careful. Walking around, every chipping damage he does with those Broodlords and Infestors is very important. The Medevacs, sure, they can heal you up, but they cannot revive you. And those Broodlings, every time they die, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. There's always more Broodlings. Alright. 20 army supply difference here in favor for Solar. Is it going to be enough, or is this... Are these EMPs and the micro from Cure just gonna be enough? Okay, dodging the infestation, or, well, the fungals, the EMPs do manage to land quite ludicrously well. One more massive fungal does land on absolutely everything. A final fungal really does come in to shut down most of those Marines. And I think those 2 fungals, it was so close there, but those 2 fungals, it was still enough to just absolutely demolish. And man, that was just a situation where, I mean, Solar just needed to land a couple of abilities, and Cure, he needed to do that perfectly. Alright, bottom right side, we have the blue Terran player fighting for Dragon Phoenix Gamers. It is Cure. And tying up this best of 3 right here is the red Zerg. Not messing around, Kaiser Gamers. Solar. He's here to win. He's here to win. He is willing to put in the time, the effort, anything he needs to in order to make sure that he wins. Couldn't, there's a question here as well. Couldn't Kjør try to go for a draw in that situation? I don't know. I don't think so, because Solar, he was already ahead with 20 supply. Army supply, that is, as well. And that base in the 6 o'clock did still have quite a bit of money left, right? So, if Kjør just let Solar sit there, try to go for a draw. I mean, Solar's going to mine that base out. He's going to grow that army advantage. And, yeah, I don't think anything else really could have happened there for Kjør. I think that was his best chance to make that work. I like that he gobbled up every bit of money that he could have on the map before he tried to go in, but I don't know. It was just a rough situation. It was an incredibly rough situation. And it only got there due to all the 35 other minutes that were a part of that game. Okay. Okay. Looks pretty normal. Looks all very regular TVZ stuff here. Lightshade, quite a small map. But, well, a map that is, you know, unfamiliar with 40-minute long games. It does still happen. We've seen it before on the ITaX channels as well as plenty of others. There is that quick third base again coming out of Kjør with a 1-1-1 coming in as well. Keep our eyes open in case he tries to do anything out of the ordinary there. 1 second, guys. I'm trying to set something up. So, here and there we were having tiny lag spikes. Hopefully that will be gone now. Alright. Man, we're gonna get a tech lab on that starport, aren't we? We're gonna get Banshees here. We're gonna get battle cruisers, maybe. Maybe, who knows? Well, there's probably not, because there's no fusion core. But Banshees could be on the menu here. Just pretty good with the Banshees, I have to say. Plenty of times, Kjør has been the player that has impressed me the most with the amount of stuff he can do with Banshees. Even if the opponent still knows Banshees are there, they know they're coming. Kjør just, I don't know how he does it, but he will just get 12 kills. It's like, oh, you made a Spore Crawler in every base and have 2 queens in every... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Instead of Banshees, we're having Liberator Harassment, though. Going for the quickest impact upgrade would indicate a quicker, perhaps, timing attack with the Marines as well. Could be good in combination with a Liberator striking elsewhere and then poking in with Marines, taking away all the attention, of course. Already, this Viking here, big part of this plan as well, right? More of these Overlords are gone. The easier it is for that Liberator to go in unnoticed and to really stack up the damage before Solar has a moment to respond. Alright, 6 Hellions and a Reaper now at the front door, ready to take on the small number of Zerglings actually available. There is a very large number of Queens though. Okay, that is a lot of attention being drawn away. And oh no, there's a Spore Crawler here right underneath the Liberator. Oh, that could have done so much more. Maybe it did that much because Solar was like, lol, you put it underneath a Spore Crawler. I'm not gonna even respond by moving my drones right now. And that's what made him still lose 4 drones. I don't know exactly, but you know what? That is, it's 10 workers. 10 workers. Was that enough? Let's take a look at what he lost, really. 8 Hellions, a Liberator, a Reaper. I don't know. It's okay. It's okay. It's alright. It's a very playable position here for Kyo. He does have that 3rd CC, of course. He's gonna have that quickest impact. Look at the production that is being set up right now. Holy smidgens, Batman. That is 5 extra barracks at the same time being produced. 5 extra barracks. Alright, yeah, Kyo should be absolutely fine here. He's gonna hit a massive stride of production pretty soon. Trying to keep an eye out on whether or not he wants to go for a 4th base. I assume so because, you know, we have the 1-1 being upgraded right now. And on trajectory with it for the 2-2 is that armory. So, Kyo here already prepping for the later game. He's not going to put all his eggs in one basket just quite yet. Knows he can win that extreme late game regardless of the previous map. Which got very close after all. A little dangerous dance here with the Medivacs, but does manage to keep it all alive. Steady going. And a persistent threat for Solar to have to take into consideration. Right, you're going to have your Queens here, Spore Crawlers, something ready to just dive on the Medivacs the moment they jump into action again. Which creates more breathing room for other attacks. For Marines and Widowmines to just kind of walk through the middle. Still no 4th. +2/+2 for both these players. Starting up. 4th base for Solar. About to finish up here. Ooh, nice surround on those Marines, but enough medevac power there to pick it all up. Enough lifting strength to grab all those Marines out of there. That could be a very juicy Widowmine. Quick split away from those Banelings though. Solar managing to safeguard most of them. Still believe 4 Banelings there did manage to get chipped away from the overall numbers. Circlings on the top side are gaining a bit of control here, but with this reinforcements actually, okay. Do need to regroup on the creep. Not that many creep tumors remaining though to regroup on. Especially not that much creep to try and get some aggression going. Banelings trying to wait until they're all finished up right now. The Zerglings not that numerous. I think we may have ourselves a victor here pretty soon. Solar is just not going to be able to stop this onslaught from happening. Down by 50 army supply. It is quite a big number right now. It's even more than that.